Hey guys, it's Jennifer. I know you've seen this look before, but I am doing some filming today of some videos that I wanted to catch you guys up on. Okay, it's been a while since I've talked about a new eyeshadow palette on my channel, but every once in a while, even though when you think you have like a collection that you really like and that's really great, you see something and it just pulls you right back in, and that is what's happened with this eyeshadow palette. So I really wanted to talk to you guys about why I chose it, my experience with it. I've been using it every day, so I can also give you a pretty good review now. So let's jump right into it. Alright, so I am talking about the Alter Ego Sakura palette. So this is a dupe of the Natasha Denona Retro Glam. So let's have a little chat about why this pulled me in. I have talked about Retro Glam so many times on this channel. I've talked about how much I didn't want it or need it on this channel for a couple of reasons. One, I felt like I could pull that color story through my other collections. Two, I felt like my mini glam that I have, that grungy green was just not present in what I was seeing in the swatches of the Retro Glam palette. I still think that's true. I still don't think that grunginess is in there at all. I think we interpreted that very different than Natasha Denona interpreted that. But also the color story just seemed like so not that interesting to me. Like, how are they going to make this a full MIDI palette? More importantly than that, how am I going to pull off so many looks that I can justify spending $69 on this MIDI palette? So that was my thought process. But then Alter Ego came up with this. First of all, I love the artwork. It is so pretty. It really captures the essence of the color story. And so did the Retro Glam. I feel like that also captured the essence. But again, you'll see no grunginess here, which is what I loved about my mini glam. So I'm not like this huge Alter Ego fan. I have their regular glam dupe as well. And it's good. And I like it. And I use it. But what pulled me in was this color story. Now, before I show you this, I want to talk about the importance of pan layout, because these are the exact same shades in the Natasha Denona Retro Glam. They're the exact same shades. And yet, when I've looked at that palette 1,000 times, I never thought, oh, I need to spend $70 on that. When I looked at this palette, I was like, I have to have this palette. And by the way, after the promo code that they have and stuff, it was like 18 bucks. It's kind of hard to beat. But it was this color story. And this goes to show the importance of pan layout. So let me show you the inside of this palette. So when I saw this, I was like, there are 5 looks here. There are 5 beautiful looks of darker green, a bit of a lighter green with a more of a silvery shimmer here. This pink neutral look, which I have on right now, if you can see that. I'm showing this in the most awkward way, but that's what I'm wearing right now. And then a darker neutral cool tone and a lighter cool tone neutral. There are 5 looks here. When I looked at the Retro Glam palette, I did not see that. I did not see these 5 looks. I saw a lot of colors that I weren't going to be able to pull together. And I'm going to put a picture on screen of these side by side so you can really get a feel for what I'm talking about. I had no interest in Retro Glam, but when I saw it arranged this way, it called me. It called me. So this brings up the importance of pan arrangement. This just goes to show that you can see the exact same colors in another palette and it's all right. But when you see it arranged in just the right way, it shows you exactly how versatile it is. So this made me go back and reach for some of my other Natasha Denona MIDI palettes. And I thought, they're removable pans. Let's rearrange some things and see if, once again, I can arrange these in a way that makes sense to me, because I don't really use these all that much. So this is the Sunrise palette. I will put a picture on screen of the original layout because I've already jimmied this one all up. And then I will show you how I have rearranged these colors into 5 looks. I can easily do a look with 3 colors. And this is not the only way to do these. You can use other things. But here we go. So on this side, we have this red undertoned neutrally pink color story. This one, we have this beautiful yellow gold to bronze. I really like that. I can't wait to put that on my eyes this fall. This one, we have our classic sunrise look, which is the yellow into the darker pink. This one, we have a burgundy with a gold shimmer. I mean, this is like, is this not like such a beautiful holiday look here? And then on the end here, we have a warm neutral color story with a red shimmer. Oh, it's not really red. It looks red on camera, but it's kind of a duochrome. It looks more bronze to me. So now I have 5 cohesive looks that I'm ready to pull. I can use this palette to make these 5 looks. And again, I could do other things if I want to, but this just makes it so easy. In the morning, rather than planning out instead of getting out my color wheel, which I have, and saying what's gonna blend in with what's gonna look nice, I have 5 looks here. So again, palette layout is everything, everything. Let's look at the Love palette. This one also I purchased. I got both of these on sale, by the way, for like 32 bucks. I did not pay full price for them. I'll put the original Love on screen, and then I will show you the 5 looks that I created by rearranging the palette. To me, this makes so much more sense. So here we have this beautiful pink burgundy look with a darker shimmer. We have a lighter, more warm toned version of that here. I love this one. This one is like a really neutral, and then there's this duochrome purple and the darker cream to powder over here. Like, I could make such a pretty halo out of that. Would that not be such a pretty halo eye? Then we have a nice cool tone purple look here with this silver shimmer that we can pull that together. And then on the end here, we have a pink purple mix with this nice pinky duochrome rose goldy shade here. So here are 5 looks already put together that I can use. So you can see how much this Sakura palette has just completely motivated my creativity. I'm loving this idea. And it really has, it's gonna change the way that I use these midi palettes as well. Now, let's talk about quality on the Sakura palette, because I think that warrants a little bit of further discussion. So I really struggled, because after I saw the color story, I was like, well, I could get the Natasha Denona and know what kind of quality I'm going to get, and I can rearrange it this way. But I thought, you know what? No, for 18 bucks, let's give this a try. And I'm going to tell you right now, the quality is not Natasha Denona quality. It just isn't. When you have an eyeshadow palette, you have to, obviously, cost is going somewhere. Now, this is an indie company. It's much smaller than Natasha Denona, so they don't have a lot of employees that they're going to have to pay like she does, and benefits and things like that. However, that money still, the cost has to go somewhere. So it's either going in packaging, which as we can see, it has. This is a nice cardboard packaging. It is. These are not metallic pans, but this is not nowhere near as nice as this. I mean, this is such nice luxe packaging. It's heavy. It feels like luxury. So it is not that. So cost has gone into packaging, which is fine. I don't have to have the packaging. But it's also gone into quality a bit. It really has. It's not as good. They don't have any cream to powder formulas in here. They just have, I think it's like mattes and shimmers and toppers, I think is what they're called. But having said all of that, the quality is fine. It's fine. I do have to work just a little bit harder, just the tiniest bit harder, to get these to play perfectly and blend. Versus my Natasha Denona, I have to do very little work. They kind of blend themselves. And my shimmers in here are nowhere near as impactful as Natasha Denona shimmers. I do have to layer them. Let me see if I can get close and show you this eye look again. I've had this on all day, so forgive me if it's not so great. But I mean, it looks fine. I had to go in with a finger, and then I had to layer with a wet brush, brush with setting spray to get the shimmer to really lay down. And I've had this on now for about 7 hours. So it's doing fine. But it's just, it takes a little bit more work. So let me go ahead and swatch some things for you. And I can kind of show you what I mean. So let's go ahead. And I'm going to really like swirl in here, because I kind of feel like you have to in order to get that build up. Again, it's par for the course. These are much, much, much drier than Natasha Denona shadows. But again, it's all there. So here's the top row. I got swung by a sweat bee the other day. It was really horrible. But as you can see, this is light. It is. I could build that up a bit more, but it's light. These are not like they're not killing you with payoff here, the pigment payoff. Again, I can build them up. The shimmer, it's fine. It's fine. It's a $20 palette and it's fine. Is it amazing? No, no, it's not amazing, but it's fine. Let's look at some more. I'm going to save one for last because I have a particular reason for doing that. That's nice. Again, it's fine. The mattes are a bit powdery, as you see. You really do have to be careful of fallout. They're a bit powdery. I'm not going to go over my sweat bee sting if I can help it. Can you believe a sweat bee stung me? It was so out of nowhere. I was on a walk and I looked down and there's a sweat bee on me and it just totally stung me. All right, so again, these mattes I feel like perform a little bit better than these. They're very powdery, but you can build them up. This has got a lot of color payoff. It just doesn't have a lot of shimmer payoff. Same thing here, a lot of color payoff, not a lot of shimmer payoff. All right, let me grab this last bit. And you can see what I mean about powdery, like it gets all over the palette. And that's just because, yeah, it's got some kick up. And I'm really digging in these to get this, guys. But you kind of do have to. You really kind of do have to. It looks like this one on the end is their attempt at the cream to... I may be wrong. I was told that it didn't have the cream to powder formula, but it definitely does. It definitely does. It's right here. And I think this was the right one in the original. So yeah, they've tried to get that texture. It's very interesting. You can see like where my finger is like pushing in there. So it does have that. The payoff on it is interesting as well. And it's kind of got a little bit of a satin finish. So that, I did not know that. That's what I get for just listening to people. You can see those are quite similar, but they are different. This one has a little bit more of a gold undertone or a pink undertone. This one is a more of a true brown. Oh God, it's been so long since I've done a swatch. It's amazing. All right, so here we go. I know I've gotten all sorts of crooked. But you can see that there is color there. There is absolutely payoff. It's just not like, wow, high impact. And I just think that it's a beautiful palette. It really is. And it does get dark and grungy in a bit of these shimmers, which is fun. But do I have anything comparable in any of these other palettes? I was going to look and see. Not quite. I will go for, I can't tell you the names of things because I've rearranged my palettes. And that's the one thing. This is from the Sunrise palette. Maybe it's the closest one I have there. Not far off. But this one has more glitter in it, and this one is just more of a nice satiny sheen. It looks very metallic in person. You can see quite a difference in texture and formula. All right, so I saved one for last, so let's use that one as a baseline. So this is the color Prime in this palette. Now, I actually have this from the Natasha Denona Retrogram palette. This came free with like an Ulta or Sephora purchase. I think it was Sephora. I can't remember. But it's the only thing that I have from that palette. So we can actually compare side by side, though I don't have both palettes. We can compare side by side to see exactly how they got with the formula. So I can tell you in the pan, the color looks exactly the same, but the texture does not. So I'm going to get the Natasha Denona one here, which is so soft. I mean, it is, oh, it's so soft. You barely have to dip into it. And you can see like how completely shiny the texture adds more shininess. And now let me go into the Alter Ego. This is much drier, much drier. So here we go. Color again looks exactly the same. I don't know if that pulls different on camera, but in real life it looks exactly the same. This one looks, they look very similar, but this one feels different. So let's switch it out and we will see. Where is going to be the best place? Maybe here. Okay, let's see what we see here. So this is the Natasha Denona side. Yeah. I mean, it's very similar. I think the Natasha Denona is a bit more shiny. I really do. And the texture, like I said, feels a bit wetter than the Alter Ego, which is a bit drier. But honestly, on the eyes, these are going to perform pretty much exactly the same. I think that this is the key with this palette, is I think that on swatches, on the hand, it may feel very different. And you may have to, like I said, work a little bit harder. Did you see all that kick up? And I do feel like I do have to work a little bit harder to get these to play. They're very dusty, like in shade range and everything. Instead of grungy, I would say these are very dusty colors. But as you can see here on the eye, it's going to be, I mean, it's going to perform pretty much the same way. The Natasha Denona might be a little bit shinier. It looks the tiniest bit. But again, on the eye, will you be able to see a difference? I don't think so. So $20, $70 rounded. Guys, it's a no-brainer for me. It really is. Like, if this were going to be like the most versatile palette I ever had and I was going to use this every single day, I would spend that $70 all day, every day, and I would love it. But because I have so many other palettes and I try to balance them all and use them all and give them all love, this is the perfect price point. And I have to say, I'm really happy with my decision to purchase it. And as I also say, it has inspired the heck out of me. I've rearranged other palettes now because of it, and it shows the importance of that pan arrangement and how much that can call to us in a color story. All right, this has gone on for way too long. I hope everybody's doing great. Let me know in the comments down below what you think and what your thoughts are. Are you feeling me on this, or do we just, you know, do you have the Retro Glam palette and do you use it every day? Because I've used this palette every day this week, and I have to say my looks have been great. They've held up. Everything's been great. But I mean, I'm not going to use this palette every day always. It's been great to play with and I've really enjoyed it. But you know, if I'd have spent $70, I didn't spend $70 on the other two midi palettes I had. I got them on sale, which to me is the way to go with a lot of these things. All right, guys, so that's it for me. Let me know in the comments down below what you think, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.